Hey guys, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna dive into and talk about finding the perfect home in Denver, specifically tips and tricks for newcomers. However, if you're a local in Colorado and you're looking at selling your home and moving, some of these areas have changed since maybe the last time that you saw them, right? Like even Littleton and Southeast Aurora, whatever it may be, there's a lot of changes. So even if you're local, you're gonna want to make sure you still listen to the content.
That's right. Let's get into it. All right, starting off, guys, let's start broad and kind of narrow our way down. To give you guys a basic understanding of the Denver metro area as a whole is one of the most important things, because the way that Colorado and Denver is set up is very different from a lot of other states. For example, you go to Florida, you go to California, and it is very, very city central focused. Like, so for example, if you're looking at Tampa in Florida, Tampa market's gonna be Tampa market. People aren't saying they live in Tampa if they live an hour outside of Tampa. However, that's how it operates here in Colorado.
Everybody's from Denver. Everybody lives in Denver here, but it's just the opposite. Like, you do have a lot of things to do in Denver. However,
Correct,
it's almost like Denver's in support of everything that the suburbs are doing. And there's just their own little ecosystem. Southeast Aurora, Thornton, North Glen, Arvada, Littleton, Highlands Ranch, they all surround Denver Metro, but they're their own ecosystem with everything that you need. There's nothing that you need necessarily to go down into Denver unless you're working or you'd like to go to a sporting event, but you don't necessarily have to travel into the city at all.
It's true. So, a lot of times when we're referencing Denver in these videos, we really mean Denver and a surrounding 45-minute radius to include all the major metro cities.
Correct. For example, Denver International Airport would be right here. See that? That's Denver, and that's the International Airport. That's not even close to being like central Denver area, right? But just to give you guys some context. So when we're going through these things, you definitely want to focus on some of these areas more specifically than just the heart of Denver.
That's right. Now let's go over some of just our more popular Denver metro cities in addition to Denver, just some of the characteristics of each one of them. Again, this is all set up to help you establish, hey, what's going to be the best area to find the best home for you and your relocation out here to Colorado.
Correct. So starting out, like if you were to drop a rock in the water, like that's like downtown Denver. That first little ripple outside of where you drop the rock, that's where we're gonna start, and that'll be like your actual like city and county of Denver as far as those Denver specific neighborhoods before we venture out abroad outside of the city limits.
That's right. So you've got right downtown Denver, which honestly, not a lot of people live right in downtown Denver. That first little ripple that Will's talking about, that's gonna be areas like Lower Highlands, Wash Park, Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek might be the second ripple coming out of it.
Cherry Creek North is probably like the outer part.
Yep.
Washington Park is definitely a part of that.
And those areas we like to call urban suburban, because you're going to have a lot of single family homes. People have nice yards, very tree lined streets. A lot of those neighborhoods are very quiet, but they'll also have those little kind of central downtown strips, right? Where it's
They're inside the highways.
Correct, yeah.
Like when you got downtown Denver, then you've got like I-25 and I-70 and these major highways. These neighborhoods are actually within the highway, which means you're just taking your normal streets into the heart of downtown. You're taking Spear and Leedsdale, et cetera, 17th, 6th Avenue. But that's kind of how I see those first ripples is you're outside the downtown, but you're still within the highway parameters, which means you're just taking inner city roads into the heart. That's how close you are. The second ripple's probably like South Broadway. Right? You've got like some Sunnyside there, Inglewood-ish, correct.
No, and those areas are great if you're looking for, single family homes, but a little bit faster paced lifestyle. If you like walk into a grocery store, walk into a cafe, those are the areas that you're going to want to be focused on.
Especially Cherry Creek North.
Especially Cherry Creek North. That's the most walkable area in Denver. And then as you continue to go out, you're only going to get more and more suburban as you go. Now, let's dive into the weather. As you are choosing the perfect neighborhood for your perfect home, there are gonna be some small weather variances, but not for the most part. You kind of got to go into the foothills. Once you do go into the foothills and you're out of the primary Denver metro area, call it east of 470, as you guys are seeing on a map right now, as soon as you start crossing west of 470, getting into places like Morrison and Evergreen, Golden, that's where you will feel winter a little bit more. Snow's going to hang out a little bit longer.
There's also a little bit more elevation there as far as like slope, because you're closer to the mountains, which means you're still part of the descend out of the mountains. And when you get roads out there that are frozen over and it's hard to get all that ice off the roads, and the roads just have a little bit more incline, it can be a little bit more dangerous when you guys are driving versus when you're out in Southeast Aurora, you still get plenty of snow, plenty of winter, but you've got a great view of the mountains. but things are more flat, which is a little bit more safe, right? So you guys just have to be careful as you get a little bit closer to the mountains.
It's true. So when you're choosing an area to live, definitely consider lifestyle, consider your work situation. If you really love the feel of living more in the mountains like an Evergreen, yet you work downtown, or in, like, my mother-in-law lives in Evergreen, she works at Anschutz Medical Campus.
That's a drive.
She's got to drive every time. She likes doing it. She's okay for it. She's prepped, but just don't underestimate the effects of some weather on that drive.
Correct. And for example, let's give you guys a specific neighborhood that we've covered before. It's a brand new area. It's been getting developed these past couple of years. But if you want to live closer to the mountains, but still work downtown or need to commute to downtown or Denver Tech Center, a place like Sterling Ranch is going to be awesome. You've got fiber optic and a full gig that runs into every home.
Yep.
It's kind of like a safe city. Like street lights have different technology. If a kid goes missing, the street lights will flash certain colors.
Yep.
It's got its own UC health center there.
Yep.
It's got its own coffee shop and rec center there. They're building the schools out there. They're building the pool house. Amazing. It's not too far from, is it Roxborough Park or Flatiron?
Yeah, it butts right up by Roxborough.
Roxborough Park. So it's literally right next to a national park. You get
State park. Sorry.
You've got an amazing view of the mountains from there, but the commute's not too far coming into Denver. So Sterling Ranch could be a great option for you guys.
And that is one of the most beautiful areas. I'm glad you brought up Roxborough Park, because it's just gorgeous to have these these red rock formations that even extends north up to the Ken Carl area, which is West Side Littleton, West Side Highlands Ranch.
Correct.
Absolutely gorgeous areas.
You can walk out of your backyard onto a trail that literally leads into Roxborough Park.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
All right, now speaking of lifestyles, we really want to do just a quick breakdown of rural living, of urban living, suburban living, and then rural types of areas.
You're struggling on rural like I struggle with reservoir. I say reservoir, and you say no, it's reservoir. I say reservoir, and you go no, it's reservoir.
Meanwhile, I'm like rural.
Baguette, fifi, foo-foo, veve. Listen, let me just remind you that we are licensed brokers, realtors in the state of Colorado, not ventriloquists or people with perfect vernaculars.
Yes.
But just as much as we do love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So the number that's popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone numbers, text messages, and those emails. So we'd love to help you with those real estate needs, not necessarily with your grammar. That being said, let's get back into suburban and rural areas for you guys.
That's right, that's right. So when we're looking at suburban, the major cities that you're gonna have immediately surrounding the Denver metro area are going to be things like Westminster on the north side, Westminster, Superior, Lafayette, so Boulder in there too. And then as we start kind of working our way down, you've got Littleton, Highlands Ranch, Parker, Castle Rock, coming up and around then to Southeast Aurora, and then Aurora as a whole.
Correct, you've got Highlands Ranch and Castle Pines, more so on like the southwest area. A lot of great areas. And we will say like the suburban areas, like for example, for myself, we've got 3 kids. We live in Southeast Aurora, Cherry Creek School District. Great schools. We love where we're at. We appreciate where we're at. And we have 2 huge clubhouses here in South Shore. So with 3 little kids and Eli and I working a ton, it's nice that if I'm not home, if we're out filming, if we're out helping clients, my wife can take the kids, and there are 2 huge clubhouses with pools and fitness centers and areas to eat. And we've got kids all the way from 14, 5, and 1.5. So if our daughter wants to work out with mom or whatever it may be, they've got the little kiddie pool in addition to the adult pool. It's great. You've also got the trails that are inside of these neighborhoods that lead right out to the water for Aurora Reservoir. And that's about a 7 or 8 mile trail that goes around the water. So whether it's the pool life and lake life, or whether it's us wanting to hit our bikes or just hit a little walk on the trails, there is so much to do here. And the shopping is close, Southlands Mall is close. There's so much right here in our little ecosystem where we don't have to travel more than 10 minutes for grocery, if that, probably 6 minutes. And we can walk right out of our backyard onto some trails and have a great time. I love that as a dad because it gives my family something to do, even though Eli and I are working a lot, et cetera, but things to consider. But Southlands Mall, although it's great, you've got a little pub over there, you've got a movie theater over there, you've got Lululemon, you've got Victoria's Secret, you've got candle shops, you've got cell phone shops, like you've got a ton of restaurants, but it's more family-oriented mall versus like Cherry Creek North, a lot of high-end, Louis Vuitton, you name it, it's there. It's more of like your downtown luxury style mall. They do have a playground inside for kiddos, but the stores aren't necessarily as geared toward that versus out here in Southlands, a Southlands Mall in South Shore neighborhood, you have a lot of just family, whether it's the shopping, whether it's the trails and the fun, all of it's great, more family oriented. You know, the areas that are gonna surround South Shore are gonna be Blackstone, Talons Reach, and South Shore. These are your 3 neighborhoods that are Southeast Aurora that are by the Southlands Mall location. But all great things, but again, when it comes to suburbia, it's great school districts, great shopping, great recreation and activity, very family-esque.
And honestly, guys, this is where we find the majority of our clients opting to move to whenever they do come here to Colorado, because as Will just said, all the awesome things about it. South Shore and the Southeast Aurora area absolutely crushes it, but those things he mentioned aren't just exclusive to this area.
Correct.
If you're looking at areas in Castle Rock and Highlands Ranch, this is just how Colorado kind of builds these communities, which I think is awesome and obviously draws a lot of people. Diving into some rural areas are going are going to be more on the south and east side. Castle Rock, as you get further down south into Castle Rock, you will start seeing some really big lots, 4, 5, 10, 35 acre lots that are out there. And what I like about that is you're usually no more than 10 or 15 minutes from downtown Castle Rock, yet you have just straight up rural living with nice, big, gorgeous homes, huge open lots. And then as you go east and northeast into Parker, Parker has, believe it or not, you've got normal suburban Parker, but as you go east, you'll have, again, 5, 10, 20 acre lots that are out there.
High School.
Yep.
Or like you've got Pradera Golf Course.
Even just south of South Shore.
Even just south of South Shore, you've got Elkhorn Ranch. Which
Yep.
is, so South Shore, where I live, is southeast Aurora, and it's on the very southeast corner of Aurora, right next to Douglas County. So the first entry, Douglas County, Parker's area would be Elkhorn Ranch. Very quiet, very nice. A little bit undeveloped when it comes to shopping, but they've got Southwoods Mall. But as you get down into like Castle Rock and things like that, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. One thing I do want to say is Eli just said the same thing I said about South Shore. It's within 10 minutes of the shopping you need. We're probably about 6 minutes from the shopping that we need, not 10. I'm splitting hairs, but the difference is I'm just going to go down a 35-mile speed limit road to a stop sign, to another stop sign, and then into the mall. You're about 10, 11 minutes from shopping when you get to like South Castle Rock, but that's going 65 miles an hour on the highway. So it is a little bit further mile-wise. Time-wise, not so much, but you do have to consider those things when there's inclement weather, right? So if you are kind of getting snowed in or whatever, maybe you might just want to plan a little bit ahead as far as like making sure you have what you need before that snowstorm, because sometimes highways do kind of get shut down, or even if they're not shut down, you just don't feel safe getting on a highway during a blizzard. Here within like the inner suburban area, it just becomes a lot more safe when it comes to commute during the inclement weather. So just something to consider. And
before we move on to our next point, we're going to give a little teaser for next week's video where I'm going to actually break down the most popular urban areas, suburban areas, and then rural areas. Will be on Google Earth, Google Maps, and I'll give you guys a complete rundown of the top communities in those areas that you can check out based on whatever lifestyle choice you're looking for.
And I heard the word I. So apparently this sneak peek is also news to me, because apparently I will not be on the video next week. It's an I thing over here, which is probably a good thing, because the way he pilots Google Earth and explains things to you guys, those are some of our best videos that get the best compliments, get the best reach outs on phone, text, email. They're super nice. I love him. He's definitely like the Maverick, Tom Cruise, Top Gun guy of our drone for our videos, because he flies all of it, and of our Google Earth.
That's right.
Just a modern day Maverick.
I just got some new Google Earth tools that I'm playing around with. We're gonna launch those next week. We'll see.
Hey,
we'll see. All right, next, let's dive into the types of homes you'll find in these areas, specifically the age of the home, because that's where we're gonna find the biggest difference, right?
Correct.
Look at it this way. The closer you start to downtown Denver, and just Denver as a whole, we're gonna have older homes. As we progressively ripple out away from the city, they're going to get progressively newer and newer.
Correct, but it's not that simple. You also have some scrapes inside the inner city, like Wash Park, Cherry Creek North has a lot of brand new homes. They're just one-offs, they're not new build communities. They're just one-offs where somebody scraped that lot, built a brand new home. So you can find those things, but it's not so much just, oh, this home's older than this home. We've got great soil here in Colorado. Foundations do a great job here just as a whole by nature in Colorado, but it's not so much foundations, and if a home's older, we should be a little bit careful of it. Not so much. It's actually like kind of in the middle. So for example, if you go out to Highlands Ranch, well, those homes are newer than downtown Denver. Correct, but a lot of those homes were developed in like the early 2000s, in the 90s. If you guys remember the 90s and the early 2000s, there's certain decor choices. Carpet was a great thing for everybody. People loved carpet so much back then, they put it in the bathrooms, right? So there's some things to consider where you can get these big, beautiful homes in Highlands Ranch, but then you walk inside and some of the decor, some of the design factors just not you, and you're like, man, I love this, but we need to knock this wall down and change this, and hey, we just gotta update and maybe do some remodeling inside. The one benefit to that is you will definitely get your money's worth if you guys are doing main level redesign or any type of like, so for to be specific, kitchens, living areas, primary bedrooms, those do great. And what you also get out there is certain views of the Rocky Mountains, and you get certain lot sizes. Very similar to like what we'd call Central Aurora, or maybe even like Centennial, right off of like, I'll give you guys an example, throw a map up of like Parker Road and Orchard. You've got this area, you've got the Trails Rec Center, center right over here. It's an amazing area. These homes are amazing. A lot of them have huge lots.
Yep.
They're just outdated on the inside. So if you can stomach that and create some remodel for yourself over some time and have some projects for yourself, it's amazing, but it's something to consider because sometimes you guys see these areas and for school districts and commute and lot size, it's amazing. You're just not expecting the outdated inside. So you have to consider that having an older home or not, it's not so much because of the condition of it, it's maybe a preference saying over.
Completely. So again, tying it back to lifestyle, right? That open concept versus closed off and blocky and outdated. Some people love a remodeled 70s home. Other people are like, man, a brand new home with a brand new furnace, brand new roof, brand new water heater where I don't have to worry about that stuff for 10 or 15 years. Man, that's such good peace of mind.
And we've seen extreme. You remember those like glass squares?
Oh yeah, the you seen like bathrooms, the like translucent
and
glass.
Some people put that on a half wall in the living room. Like you swear White Snake lived here or shot a music video. We've seen some stuff through our years in real estate.
Awesome.
A lot of fun stuff, just it's the last thing somebody wants to buy.
All right, so now that you guys have some guidance on some areas that may work for you or may not work for you, one of the next best things that you can do, and we have almost all our clients do this, is they schedule a discovery trip coming out here. This isn't a house hunting trip, this is an area hunting trip, right? To where in just, maybe 2 or 3 days is usually all it takes for you to be able to go and explore these top areas that might be on your list, dive even further into the neighborhoods. But the one key thing that you guys need to remember here is that process of elimination is the goal. It's equally, if not as beneficial to find areas that are not gonna work for you than areas that are gonna work for you. So coming out here, you've got our local area guides that we provide you to give you some homework and some areas to go explore. You've also got the Living in Denver app that has home searches on it. We can build custom searches for you on there. There's all sorts of cool tools within our app as well that we equip our clients
And
with.
not only can we build a custom search for you as far as areas, we will build that custom trip. So when you guys are coming out here, everything is going to be custom. That way, the top 3 or 4 areas you guys want to see, we're going to show you the clubhouses, the malls in that area, the shopping in that area. You guys will be able to drive those neighborhoods. You'll be able to see and drive the top commutes in or out of the city. If you need to drive that, anything and everything that you guys need to know about these areas. And it's beneficial. And if you guys are going to be out here for a couple of days, there is a way to see homes as well. We just want you guys seeing areas first. Because the last thing you guys want to do is fall in love with a home that's in the area you don't want to be. Because listen, all jokes aside about the 80s Highlands Ranch homes and the decor, you can change that. What you can't change is a lot size. What you can't change is a commute. What you can't change is a school district. The things that are not changeable to where you live are what we got to focus on first. That way we get you where you guys want to live. Once it's there, if you got to make some updates on your homes and things like that, and you make it your own and you enjoy it, great, because you can update a kitchen. But you can't just update the area that the home is actually in. And there's no worse buyer remorse that anyone's ever had in their life than just living in an area that they don't enjoy.
It's true. And to give you guys a couple other pro tips here, when you are on this trip, to really help yourself get a feel for the neighborhood and just the lifestyle that's going to be out there, I tell people to go to grocery stores. Grocery stores are the central location where everybody of every demographic in that area, they're going to come and do their shopping, right? And it's just go there, get a feel for it, see how nice the grocery store is, see if you like it, like just get a feel for the neighborhood in general. Another pro tip, if you're interested in a specific neighborhood, I tell people to go and just check it out at different times of day. Going and just driving through a neighborhood at 10 a.m. on a Monday morning is going to feel very different than going and checking out a neighborhood at 5 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock at night.
Thursday evening on the Saturday, look at the clubhouse, look at people that are interacting and things like that. And before you guys even come into your discovery trip here in Colorado, we're going to be setting up a strategy session via Zoom call or in person if you guys are already in town, covering anything and everything that you guys need to know about the buying process and or your deal breakers, your wants, your needs, and things like that. So before we're even getting into that session, we are getting into your strategy session. And why are we doing that? Because we're licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, and just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you with this strategy session or discovery trip and or anything else, we'd love to help you. With that being said, enjoy this next video that will not have me, so you'll probably learn a lot more, and he's gonna fly a little drone in his Google Earth. It'll be amazing. It'll be next week. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys.
That's right. We'll see you guys.